Hi, this is Kathleen with KwiltArt. Welcome to part 7, the outer border corners, for the KwiltArt's video series for making the convex illusions and Poppin and quilt pattern. Now we're going to make the outer border corners. They're going to start out as squares, and then we're going to cut this on the diagonal through the dark fabric again to make 2 triangles. Those will be 2 of the corners, and then we'll do this a second time for the other 2 corners. So we're going to start out with our 3-inch wide strips. In the beginning we had cut a 3-inch wide strip just above the fold, and so we're going to sew those into a strip set, shaded light to dark. Once we do that, and all of these seam allowances are just going to be pressed in one direction, and best off on this to be pressing towards the dark. Once we do that, we are going to, and you're going to be making 2 strip sets since you have 2 3-inch wide strips from each one of the fabrics. Then we're going to cut this apart into 2-inch wide strips. So from there, we're going to take our 16-inch square that we had cut, and I've got a pin here. This is telling me what which side is the right side of my fabric. And then we're going to be adding the shaded strips around this 16-inch square. So let's just lay out 2 of these, and these are going to be too long. I prefer, when I lay these out, to cut more off of the light end than the dark end. So I'll lay it about like this, and then on the opposite side, I'm going to go opposite the dark and the light corners. We want the dark and the dark on the diagonal and the light on the diagonal here. So we'll go ahead and we can either cut these prior to them being sewn on or after. It is more accurate if you cut them prior to and then sew them on. And then we're going to sew the other 2 on. And so these will go this way. And again, I do prefer to cut a little bit more off of the light end. So these 2 will go on like that. And we'll cut those either before or after sewing them on, whichever you prefer. And then we're going to be putting on the 7-inch borders. One of the 7-inch wide strips you can cut in half because we're going to be doing opposites again, but we're going to be coming over here. So we'll be adding on to this side and then also this side, and we'll cut those either before or after, either cutting them to fit or trimming them after you sew them on, and then we'll sew on the other 2 sides here. So we'll have all 4 sides put together. So let's go back to this one here. Once we have it all sewn together, best thing to do is to mark a chalk line. And we're going to be cutting through the dark fabric, just like we did on these shaded triangles. We're going to be cutting through fabric number 8. So I would mark a chalk line that goes corner to corner here. And then also for stabilization, you could do a basting stitch about 1/8 of an inch away from the chalk line on both sides of the chalk line, and use a longer stitch, just a basting stitch, and that will help stabilize the bias edge. So once we cut it, it's going to end up looking like basically like this, and that will be your corner, and you will be making 1 more of these so that you've got here, we've got 2 corners here, and then we'll do 1 more of this, and that will be the other 2 corners. Thank you for viewing part 7. Part 8 will be sewing all the pieces together.